So can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Terrencebreaux. I'm 39 years old. Can't believe I just said that. But I'm 39 years old, youngest of five. Uh, just love life. Father was military, so military brat. Traveled all around the world, far as, with my family in the military. And then once I got out the military, my father, once I got out, he stationed in Newport News, Virginia, or Fort Eustis. And that's pretty much where we called home from there up to now.
Okay. So can you describe yourself? What's your story?
Like I said, I was the youngest of five. I was a huge sports fan. Being my father was in the military, he was gone a lot. So to keep me busy, my parents, put me in football and sports. So I played a lot of football. I loved football. Played since I was maybe 5 years old up to my freshman year in college. To where I got hurt and then had to come back home. So when I came back home, of course, I had to go. I went back to work. I went to work, and I got a job at Gateway, computer company. And I was there for 7 years, and I actually thought, I was going to retire from that company because, at the time it was a great company. And they had different plans for me back in 2003, where I got laid off, and from there it was just devastating. You can imagine. And I was married at the time, and we both worked there, so me and my wife got laid off the same day, same time. So you can imagine how things unfolded.
Yeah,
So from there, I would never have anything like that ever happen to me again. So that's pretty much when my story started back in 2003.
Okay, so as a successful person, what would you say is your morning routine? Because it seems as if most successful people have something that they do repetitively every morning to start their day. What is it that you do?
Well, my morning, I wake up, have to get my morning coffee, get my day going. I get my coffee, look at my schedule, see what I have planned for the day, and then from there, check my messages, see what messages I have, make any necessary phone calls, and then from that point, everything else is positivity. Everything from what I listen to while I'm getting ready to when I get in my car. My car is my my motivational locker room.
And I like that.
So use everything. I relate everything to sports because that's what I'm used to. So it's just like the game. If you're losing or things not going right, the coach gives you some motivation to keep you going, and then you come out second half or whatever have you, and you perform at that level. So my car is my motivational locker room. That's all that's played in my car, and people, they might pull up beside me like, and I play it loud. So
that's the only way you can do it.
That's the only way you can do it.
That's the only way. All right, so sounds like you're a very motivating type of person, which of course I love. That is excellent. So do you have any personal mission statements, anything, a mantra, or anything that you look out and you say to yourself when, especially if something isn't going your way, like say your day is kind of not shaping up the way that you want it? Do you have some personal mission statement that you say, well, you know what, today Terrence is going to do, or today we're going to get, how do you have one? Do you have a mission statement?
Well, not so much a mission statement as more of a quote that I live by, and it's by Napoleon Hill. He pretty much says most great people have attained the greatest success one step beyond their failure, one step before their failure. So,
right.
And so many people quit right before they realize that it's about to happen. So when I'm having, everybody has bad days. So in my line of business I'm in, I get a lot of no's. 3 of them gonna say yes. Then I already know when I'm talking to that one, they say no, I get motivated because I'm like, you know what? I only got 7 more no's before I get to a yes. So I use those numbers to my favor, and it just works. It eliminates the fact of the no's, because you're gonna get no's. You've been getting no ever since you was 1 year old. So,
true.
And it never hurt you. It never killed. It never hurt you. Never killed anybody. So that's my motivation. So I know a yes is coming behind all these no's. So I use that motivation because I know that success is right around the corner.
That's right. That reminds me of a book that I read. I think it's called Count the No's, or Look Forward to the No's, or something. So it's like, that's a really good book. I'll tell you that later though. I'll get you that. I'll tell you about that book. All right. So sound like that you have a lot of passion in what it is that you do. So what are some of your passions? What's some of your dreams? What do you see yourself?
Well, I love to travel. That's one of my favorite things to do, see different places. But my main passion is for my parents. And my parents, they're retired. They're in their later stages of life, live on a fixed income. So I want to be able to do for them the things that they need to be, that they should be enjoying at this time in their life.
Right.
So that's my main passion, to where even when I'm getting those no's, that's what I'm thinking about. Okay, that doesn't matter, because my main focus and passion is my parents. So a lot of people, they try to use motivation, the money as their motivation, and I don't think you can use that, because after that, what's left?
Right.
So I feel like there has to be something bigger than money that you're actually striving for. And my biggest is my parents. I mean, I love them to death, and I just want to be the go-to person for them. Anytime they need something, I want them to come to me, and I'll be able to provide it for them.
I like that. I like that. All right. So I know you just said that your parents is, that's your passion. You want to be able to take care of them. Would you say that that is also your inspiration? Like, or do you have any other inspirations to keep going, to keep doing what you're doing?
Well, just my personal goal. I'm very goal oriented, so that's my goal, is to get to that success level that I strive for. And it might seem kind of, I don't know the right word, but I get motivated from when people do tell me no. And I'm not going, and I want them to see the success later on down the road. And I've had that already, to where I have people like, man, what are you doing?
Right.
Same thing I've been doing. So it's like, they don't understand the things that I explain to them or I try to talk to them about. And it's okay, because, it's all about timing, and everybody has the time when they want to do something. But it's just, my time is now. So I don't have any time for anybody else to, get in my way. I say what I got to say. I'm not rude or anything, but I say what I have to say to people. And if they want to come along for the ride, I'll be more than happy to bring them with me. But if they want to stay there, look at stay at the station, watch everybody, we'll watch them too. But, train goes kind of fast. Really can't see everybody staying at the station.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. So the next question is how do you motivate you to take action in your dreams? Like, how do you motivate yourself? Is it just by, you said in your car, that's your locker, that's your motivational sanctuary, that's where you go. Is there any other motivations to help you stay on track?
Just the I'm going at the time. It's nothing real more than, my parents and what I put the positive thoughts that I put in my head. Every meeting I'm going to, I already know what they're going to say. To me, they're going to say yes. It doesn't even matter. So when I'm talking and I'm getting through, they're coming through their objections or whatever have you, I'm listening, but I'm not listening. Because it's like, my main thing is, you're going to do what I say. And is that going to happen like that all the time? No. But that's what gets me going, because I know what I'm trying to accomplish. They don't, and they know what they're trying to accomplish. So it's pretty much my main goal is to get them to see exactly what I'm saying. So I guess my main, what gets me hyped or pumped up is the process. Just the process.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is, how did you turn your dream into reality? Like, what were some of your steps to say, you know what? This happened, but you know what? I'm not going to allow it to keep me down. How did you turn your dream into a reality? The reality that you're seeing right now?
Once again, I play everything. Motivation plays a major factor in everything. And I was determined not to have anyone, any company to have control over my life. So
okay,
it's just my dream, to where it's always in front of me. Everything's in front of me. Everything that I ever wanted or want to achieve, I put on my refrigerator. So I look at it every day, because, I go to the refrigerator
every day. And we go to the refrigerator every day.
I got things posted on mirrors. I mean, everything that I want accomplished is right in front of me, to where it's a reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing every day.
All right. That sounds great. Sounds like something that I do. Okay, so who do you admire? Is there a set of people that you look to when you think about your success and where you're headed? Is there anyone that you admire and the way that they did it, and maybe that you're striving to kind of mimic their pattern? Maybe not do exactly what they did, but their steps. Who is it that you admire?
Well, I have a mentor that I work with, and I admire because he's accomplished the things that I'm trying to accomplish. And I also try to, anything that's on a level to where I'm trying to get to, I try to gravitate to them.
Okay.
So if I have their conversations that, they have, their conversations are totally different than the conversations that I was having with people before in my past.
Right.
It's amazing because, you listen to them, everything is positive and everything is just so, it's amazing to hear them talk. And
Right.
I pick their brain because I'm trying to do exactly what they do, because I feel like if I can do exactly what they do, I'm going to have exactly what they have. So I try to get to, on that level, and I hang around them all the time. I try, as much as I can, I try to hang around them because that's just more motivation and to get me to realize, look, I need to do exactly what they're doing because it works. So, and that's what I try to, not to try to leave, I have friends that, I had in the past, and I've lost quite a few friends, on my journey, but that's fine because, if they're not trying to go where I'm trying to go,
Exactly. Exactly. I understand that clearly. Maybe I should be doing my own interview to myself. No, I'm just messing with you. All right. So it looks like that success is something that is that you are just like, look, I'm going to do this and I'm going to hang around the right people. I'm going to find the right things to do. I'm going to explore different options. I'm going to plan out what I need to plan out in order to get to the places that I want to get to. So even in that, what are some of your weaknesses? Like, what are some of the things that you still say, I gotta do it, but I gotta do it, but and you're still like, okay, deep breath. What is some of your weaknesses? What is it, something that you just be like, okay, I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it.
I'm hard on myself. I'm very hard on myself, so I beat myself up a lot. One of the things, I'm trying not to do, I cut people off probably a little too fast. So that's one of the things where I have to work with my patience. That's my biggest thing because I want everything like right now. Everything has to be right now, right now, right now. Yeah. And I know everything can't be right now. So when it doesn't come fast enough, I have to step back and realize, look, calm down, just go through the process. Everything's going to work out. But, I still beat myself up a lot. And, I'm not saying I'm positive all the time, so I do have negative things that...
We all do. We all do. We all do.
I have to step back and realize, okay, look, calm down. This is what you have to do. And I have to, get myself refocused. So I guess the biggest thing is I'm too hard on myself. Life is hard enough, so I don't need to be hard on myself as well.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm trying to, one of the things, I'm working hard to get to that point.
Okay. All right. That was very open and honest. I like that. I know we just talked about goals and you really already told me your goals. Is there anything specific that you are doing to accomplish a major goal? Like, do you have one goal that you're like, look, is it, I know you said you don't really focus on money as being your motivator. Taking care of your family, your parents is your top priority at this point in your life. And whatever you have to do, which will generate, of course, income to, of course, make you successful. But what is the one thing that you want to accomplish when you look down the road, maybe 10 years? What is it that you see that you're working on right now to accomplish one goal? What is it? What are you doing?
I want to leave a legacy. That's my biggest thing, leaving a legacy. So for my kids. And when I get to that point and I realize the things that I did 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago has accomplished what I'm looking at right now. So that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to strive for as well is leaving a legacy for my kids, my grandkids and their kids, so I want to get to that point because, you can't leave debt to your kids. And, that's not what you want to do. So, I try to talk to a lot of people, they get, I saw it last night where people were standing in line for the new Jordans and I'm like, that's not anything positive.
Really? What's the point? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So if you can put that much time and energy and get a pair of sneakers into personal development and focusing on the things that matter the most, these people will be amazing. But
well, you absolutely just said my favorite word of all time: personal development. I am like the queen of personal development. So you just music to my ears. I just want to throw that out there. All right. So what are some of the things that you're grateful for as you've been on this journey? Once they laid you off at Gateway and you were like, okay, you know, because we have to dig deep. You got to dig deep to find some things you're grateful for when your whole life has been taken away in so many ways. So what are some of the things that you are super grateful for now that you're on this journey? Is it the small things? Is it the very little things that you just be like, okay, you know what? Thank you. I don't know if you're a spiritual person, but Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for the small. Thank you for that no. Thank you for this. Thank you. You know, what are you grateful for?
Everything. There's a lot of people, they say they wish they can go back and change certain things. And I say, I wish I can go back and do the same exact things all over again. Because those things that happened to me got me to the point where I'm at now.
Absolutely.
So if I never got laid off from Gateway, I would have thought, okay, this is the place for me to be. I would have still been there. And who knows where I've been at right now. The no's that I get from people, I appreciate that. The people that ignore me, I appreciate everything. Everything that happened for a reason. I fully believe that. So I embrace everything that has happened. So I'm grateful for it all.
Okay. All right. And just what you just said was like wonderful. Is because a lot of people don't understand that all the things that happen in their life shape who they are. And so even if you took one component out, it could change your whole existence of how you are. And when things are taken away in our life, sometimes it makes us come back a little harder. So it's okay to even go through certain things because it has shaped you into the person. At some point when that happened, you could have said, you know, or you could have been like, you know what, I got to make some changes. I got to develop myself. I got to do some things differently. I might need to read more. I need to do this, you know, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, it actually shaped you into the person that you are right now.
Exactly. All
right, so this interview is going so wonderful. You talking about grateful. I'm grateful to you for just saying yes. You look for the no's, I'm looking for the yeses, because, you know, anybody that wants to sit here and expose themselves in this way is just, it's just phenomenal. And I'm honored. I'm telling you that, you know, off the top, I'm honored to have you here to answer a few questions, you know. All right, so we're gonna jump back into the questions. You know, I haven't really talked too much about this point since we've been in this interview, but how do you define failure? And when you defined it, how do you deal with it? If however you define it, what are some of the ways that you deal with failure?
It's just like I said when I get the no's. I feel like the failures are necessary to get to where you're trying to go. And this is one of the things that Michael Jordan said. He's like, there's a commercial he had where he talked about how many free throws he missed and how many jump shots he missed, how many games he lost. Some people will consider that failure, but most people know Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game.
Thank you. That's my team. That's my people's right there. Okay, go ahead. I get excited.
So, with all those failures came great success.
Right.
So it's to right now, they don't talk about all the games he lost or how the jump shots he missed and the free throws he missed. They talk about the championship rings he won, the MVPs he has, so the legacy that he left. And like you said, he's considered the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. So I don't consider, failure as a way as most people do. So when I do have some kind of thing that you would consider a failure, I embrace it because I realize, okay, I didn't accomplish what I was trying to accomplish here, but guess what? Tomorrow is going to be a different day. So that failure just pushes me to move even farther to my goal. So failure, we have them. There's a level of it, but you have to embrace it. You can't let it beat you up because if you do, you're pretty much going to take yourself out of the game.
That's true. And I always look at failure like it's when you give up. Failure is when you decide, I'm not going to do this no more. This is it. I'm done. This is over. You know, I think that that's the point that you fail. Everything else is just, hey, learning, growth, you know, wonderful stuff like that. So
one of the first books I read is by John Maxwell, Failing Forward.
there you go. Love John Maxwell.
Okay.
Love
Yeah,
it.
but you learn from every failure, because if you never learn it, guess what? You're going to repeat it.
Right.
So you have to learn what you're doing wrong so you can do it right the next time. So failure is a learning experience.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get just a little bit off of failure, because we're not failing here. We're doing a great job. What are some of your interests, and what were they before you started following your dream? Okay, so I'm sure, because successful people, it's just common knowledge that before we start on the journey, we have certain interests, things that we do that may not, serve us at no point. But then once you get on that path and you're like, okay, look, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna, this is life now. My lifestyle has changed. What are some of your interests now? So what were they, and now what are they? What are you doing less of or more of at this point? Or more of and less of? Which one? Whichever way you want to look at it.
Before, it was a lot of what I call wasted activity. Video games, watching TV, hanging out, doing things that have absolutely no bearing on any kind of success. So those things I would do all the time, and it was at the time I thought it was fun, and it probably was at the time. Then now they're totally different. Now I do a lot of reading. I listen to a lot of motivational self-development things. I play golf now, which is a lot of people say all the business deals take place on the golf course. So I do a lot of network. A lot of things happen on the golf course. Not that good right now, but we're getting there. But,
that's all right. You're not gonna fail because you're gonna keep trying.
I'm okay, so I might not get like Tiger Woods, but I can be like maybe Timberwoods or something like that. But I'm gonna get where I can pretty much hold my own. But yeah, so I do a lot of those, and and everything is goals. So I set goals and accomplish little goals. It doesn't even matter what it is. It's you have to have something to look forward to.
That's
and something to feel positive about. So if you set like one little small goal for the day, like I'm gonna talk to 5 people. It doesn't even matter. I'm just gonna talk to 5 people. And you talk to them and you achieve that goal, you should feel good about yourself. Then you want to increase it the next day. So I set myself up for success. Because when you accomplish things, you feel good. Whether it's big or small, I just feel like you have to do those goals, set those goals and accomplish them. So that's one of the things that I used to do and what I do now. And as well as, like I said, I don't have the same people that I used to hang out with. And, I'm fine. Trust me, I am completely fine with it because I don't have them now, and they won't be there when I, get to my destination as well. So.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm talking to the male version of myself almost. I'm a little take it back just a tiny bit, but it's great. It's wonderful. So I heard you mention Napoleon Hill, which is my all-time favorite. So I'm, this is why I say that I don't know about you right now. I'm just in awe right now that we are like connected in that way. So my next question is, what are you reading? Are you reading uplifting stuff, self-help books, positive books? I mean, what are you reading? Because we know as successful people that you got to keep reading. You got to keep motivating yourself. You got to keep that mental right, because as and not to do a shameless plug or anything, but I'm a mind performance coach, and that's what I deal with, is keeping the mental right. Okay, as not a shameless plug like I said, but I am a mind performance coach where I deal with the mental and how to change our mindsets to actually get the life that we want, because anything that we do in life is based upon our minds and what we are thinking and concentrating, our habits, certain things. So when we know that as you become a successful person and you have said, I'm successful, because you have to know that you're already successful before you even reach success. And so there are books that you are reading. What are you reading to ensure that you stay on this path to success? Even
A
more.
lot of self-development books, leadership books. Think Like a Winner, Dr. Walter Staples, probably my favorite book. Like I said, Failing Forward by John Maxwell. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah.
And then also Colin Powell, It Worked for Me. Great leadership book. So, I like to read, everything that's uplifting and motivational, and to realize that, look, you have to take certain steps. You have to get your mind right. If your mind is not right, nothing else is going to fall in line. So I feel like I have to keep reading these books and realize, okay, I need to, and if you have to trick your mind, then do what you have to do to get successful. So I do those things, I read those books, and I trick myself every day. And like you said, you have to feel like you're successful before you're actually there. So some of the things I do, some people realize, okay, you had a $20 bill and you tip $20. It's like, okay, well, if I was making, making $20,000, $30,000 a month, you have to think like you have to act like you can't wait until you start getting to that level where you want to get to, and then start acting
right.
Like it. So
Exactly.
I'm acting like it now, and I have some levels to say I'm not on that level, but I'm pushing to get that level, so I'm acting like it right now.
Absolutely. I love that. That is exactly what I breathe at this point, because I feel like that's the exact mindset that you have to have in order to get to where you want to go. And it's hard to tell people because they don't understand if it hadn't switched on in their head yet. Some people will never understand that mindset of, look, some things you have to think outside the box. If I always think the same way, I'm going to always get the same results. I can't do that if I want something different. So that just proves my point. All right, so you heard me mention habits. Are there any habits that you have that are making you successful? And a two-parter. Is there any habits that you have that's holding you back?
The habits that are making me successful, like I said, just the normal things that I do every day. The people I talk to now every day. The way I ride in my car is my motivational locker room. Those things are the positive. I mean, you can't break me from doing those things, and so I continue to do those. The things that are holding me back, I hate to say, but there's certain people that are close to me, that I really can't I can, but don't want to get rid of. But they're kind of like holding me back a little bit to where they don't, like you said, they can't think outside the box.
They don't see the vision. They don't see the vision that you have for yourself, because that is, I don't know what that is, not to cut you off, but I don't know what that is that the people that are closest to us, the ones that we kind of expect that would, do some things like cheer you on, congratulate you, give you a big hug or whatever it is, and say keep going, or all those little things that you really do need. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears, and you be looking around like, okay, so are you gonna come and hug me? I just did an interview. Aren't you excited? And they're like, what do you mean? It's not that, because they don't have that mindset. So my hat goes off to you, sir. Literally, that we all have to deal with that in that pursuit to happiness and success. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what are some of the things that are holding you back? You said relationships, probably, because they don't see the vision. I don't want to cut you off here.
That's okay. To piggyback on what you were saying as far as seeing the vision and the goal that you have for yourself. And there was a gentleman, I can't remember his name right now, but he was talking about how there's a difference between eagles and pigeons. He said pigeons, if you ever seen pigeons always have their head down, always, but eagles fly and they soar high. So they said he's an eagle and he doesn't expect a pigeon to see the same things that he sees. So that's one of the things, I'm trying to embrace and realize, okay, even though these people that, are might be holding me back a little bit, I can't let them completely hold me back. So I guess I pretty much kind of eliminated, I know I have bad habits. I can't, pinpoint them right now. Or maybe I just blocked it out of my mind so I don't want to. But I'm pretty sure.
You don't feed them. You don't feed the habit. You don't feed the bad habit. So by talking about it.
I do have some. I probably don't do. I could never. I'm just hard on myself, so I can never do as much as I should do. I guess when I do. I guess this is a bad habit I just thought of. when I achieve a goal, it's like I stop. I achieve my goal for the day, I stop instead of pushing forward and going even further. So that's definitely one of the things that I do. And I guess the good thing about that is I recognize it so I can work on it.
Right. And you know what? I can clearly relate to that. It's because it's something about our mental breakdown that allow us to think that once we got to here, if this was our stopping point, that we don't really need to go any further than that. But we have to really start training our brains to go further, even if it's just a little bit. So just go past the goal just a little bit more, and then the next time go a little bit more past that. So I can definitely relate to that. I can relate to that a lot. All right, so we did talk about fears just a little while ago. Are you feeding your fears? Well, no, we didn't talk about fears. We talked about failure. So are you feeding your fears or are you feeding your dreams? Which one do you think that you are? Because we all have fears of stuff. And I'm learning because I do a lot of research on just how our brains are and how we react to things, triggers, and how triggers and behaviors are so closely in line that sometimes our brain will react to something without us even thinking about it because we've already trained our brain to do these things. Okay, so in feeding fear is something that we pretty much make up in our mind because we don't know. It's the unknown. So we kind of just be like, it's just like talking on, like on stage. The very first time I did it, I was like, okay, I know I can do, but I can't do this right now, And so I really allowed my fear. So we were just talking about fears and feeding your fears, or are you feeding your dreams? Which one would you say that you're doing at this point?
My dreams. Feed my dreams because they're more important than any kind of fear that you can have. You're going to have the fears, and you can't get to your dreams without going through your fears. So it has to be feeding my dreams because they're more important than anything. I mean, you can't be. The way I look at it, if you let fear get the best of you, then you'll never get to your dreams. So it's definitely my dreams are in my forefront of my brain because that's where I'm trying to get to. Everything else is just an obstacle. So I just have to get around everything else to get to my dreams. And like I tell a lot of people as well, is a lot of people don't want to do the things that are necessary, which I don't understand, but because they don't know. But if you tell anybody, I'm pretty sure if you tell anybody that if you go here, this certain place, at this certain time, you'll get $5 million. How many people do you think will be there? Everybody.
Is that a trick question?
So, I try to tell, in the business I am, I try to tell people, look, this information that you can attain or the things I'm trying to share with you, there's a lot of money at the end of the day, at the end of this road. So I need you to be here. But what they don't see is people do what they want to do the most.
That's true.
So if they don't want to, if they feel like, okay, and another thing, I'm sorry, I just get going to different things. People don't hope and dream anymore, which is a big problem. When you were younger, everybody had a dream. Everybody, you ask somebody what they want to be when they grow up. I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a lawyer, be a judge, or whatever have you, a football player, basketball. But now, they're just settling for the 9 to 5. What we call it 40-40-40. Work 40 hours a day, 40 hours a week for 40 years to make 40% of what they couldn't live off of now. So it just doesn't make sense. So, and the dreams, you have to be able to dream and you have to hope again to get to some level of, to accomplish the things that you want to have. But a lot of people, that, like I said, they're so stuck in their ways. And those are the people that I try to avoid. Because if they want to stay, like you said earlier, they have to think outside the box. You have to think outside the box. And it's to the point now to where you realize you can't work a 9 to 5 and accomplish any kind of goals and dreams, any kind of lavish goals and dreams. I mean, you can set a goal to get a new car. Okay, well, your new car might be, not saying anything wrong, but your new car might be a Honda Accord. Guess what? My new car is a Ferrari or Bugatti. So, two different goals, and the goal that I have, you have to do certain things to get that.
Right.
The goals you have, I mean, you cannot buy a Bugatti or whatever kind of car that you see on TV working at a job. Well, only if you're the vice president or the owner.
Right.
You're the owner. Now, you're never going to own that company. So you have to get to that point to realize, your fears, they're only temporary. They are only temporary.
That is true. Absolutely. And I was just, while you were talking, I was thinking that a lot of people, they enjoy their comfort zone. They have not yet, either they don't understand, or they just, it doesn't matter, or they just have limited themselves in so many ways, because really, as far as you want to go is how you feel about yourself, is your self-worth. So if you think that you're worthy of this Ferrari, you're going to take steps to get this Ferrari. If you think that, well, that's all I'm going to do right here is just, I'm going to work this job and I'm going to, because that's, mentally what be going on in their head. Or they're just allowing fear to hold them back every time, or they just don't feel worthy of it. And so I think I did a video about how our brains really enjoy the comfort zone. When you stretch and yourself, and you really pull out something different, the brain is like, and then it starts forming new ventricles or whatever they call veins and stuff inside your head to open up when you start reading more, when you start learning more, and when but if you stay in your comfort zone, your brain is only going to bring up exactly what it is that it's always done. It's a habit. The brain doesn't work as hard if you just sit back and not stretch yourself and grow. And so that just made me think about that, because and what you were saying about dreams, and I have the exact same sentiment oh my gosh, because I feel like people do not dream. When you ask people, like, what are your dreams? Some people look at you strange, as if you asked them about an alien that just fell out the sky or something. They're like, really? What do you mean? I'm working. What are you saying? And you're like, oh, that's not what I meant. I meant, don't you have something in you? Don't you have some type of purpose or some destiny that you foresee for yourself? I know when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a writer. I had to develop the whole motivational type of spirit, but writing was like, I could be whoever I wanted to be in this world of mine. I can make characters do exactly what I wanted them to do. Maybe that was a control thing. I don't know. But anyway, but it was wonderful to dream. And I think today's youth especially, and here in the future, 2015, I'm going to have a place for kids to come to dream. And I'm going to have people like you, people that are passionate about what it is that they do. Because you talk different when you have passion in what you do. You almost are like in love with it. It's that feeling of just greatness. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I know it when I hear it, because I have an ear for it now. It's like when someone's talking about their dream and I'm like, or if I see them writing on Facebook or something, I'm like, I'm all excited. I feel like a child. Like, really, I be all excited, and I be all on my own, but it's okay. But it's a way that we talk about our dreams when we do. And I feel like we're losing that with our youth. And so at some point, this year, I've written a couple children books that, haven't seen the day, the light of day just yet. And notice what I said, just yet, because they're going to be out. It's just a matter of time. Timing is everything. So, all right. So let me get back to the questions, because I can talk your head off about some stuff, because, we just connect on that level. Like, I don't know what to say. All right. So I did mention in a question or so ago about habits, if there's is there something a habit that you have that if you change it, that it will push you to another level in your life or in your business, or maintaining or manifesting your dream? What are, maybe a couple of habits, maybe one that if you changed it right now, that it could push you to a different level?
Stop labeling people.
Stop
labeling people.
Labeling, okay.
I see someone and I put something in my head like, and then I move past them. That's one of the things I probably, that's one of the things I definitely, because you never know what's going on inside anybody's head. You never know. So I could be, I could be the person that they have been looking for, have been waiting for, and vice versa. So, that's one of the things that I try to think everybody is what I have to offer. I haven't get to that point. Everybody wants it.
There you go.
Everybody wants it. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, what they're doing now. Often let them tell me no. And when they do say no, they're not saying no to me, they're saying no to themselves. So that's one of the things I have to do is eliminate that part of my business and move past that. And like I said, I'm not going to say it's hard. I just have to trick my mind. So when I see that person and I'm like, no, I have to move on and do it anyway. It doesn't matter. So that's one of the worst habits that I have is trying to place what they say, trying to read the book by its cover.
Right.
That's one I have to eliminate.
Okay. All right. So I have 2 more questions and then we'll be done. This next question is, what are some of because you just said you have to, kind of like go inside your head and try to look, hey, stop labeling. Get control over that, right? And that little voice in your head that puts the labels on someone or, maybe holds you back in certain aspects, even if it's small, because sometimes we don't even realize that it could be something until it's brought to us in a different way. And one of the things that come to my mind is self-talk. Are you familiar with this term?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay, so what are some of your internal self-talks to either boost you, take you, what was the football thing, the Heisman and everything? Okay, something like that. Anyway, look, what is it something that inside that little voice inside of Terrence's head, what is it saying to push you, or what is it saying to hold you back? I'll go deep if you want to, but I'm just saying. It could be because we have a lot of self-talk. We have things that goes on inside of our mental where we are either puffing ourselves up, or we're puffing ourselves up on the outside, but inside we're still saying some things that don't, and it will never meet because we are actually using everything that we think about, all the things that we go through. It's inside of our subconscious, and it's still playing, and it's still recording, even when you're doing that negative self-talk or positive self-talk. It doesn't know the difference between good or bad. It just records. And so it's like our mental Rolodex, if you will, where we go and look up, oh, how am I supposed to feel about this? Oh, let me pull this card. Okay, this is what we're going to go with. Instead of ever, pulling a different card and going with that mindset. So is there anything inside of your mind, your self-talk, that either catapults you to another level or kind of holds you back a little bit where you're like,
I talk to myself all the time. I realize, I tell myself, look, I'm the best at what I do. Nobody can do it like I do it. So I tell myself that all the time. And then I realize that one of the things that I try to do is when I'm talking to myself, everything is temporary. That's what I try to tell me. Even if I'm like, say I'm working out or running on the treadmill or whatever, and I'm tired, and I'm not to that point where I want to get to right now, I tell myself, look, it's too easy. You're almost there. You can't stop now. You stop now, but everything you just did was for nothing. So this is one of the things that I have to keep trying to tell myself is that I'm the best. I can do this. There's nothing to this. Like I say, I'm always trying to trick myself. And even if it's, I feel like myself, I can do anything. So I tell myself I can do anything. So if there's something and I love when people tell me I can't do something, because that's just, why they tell me that, I'm telling myself, what? You don't know who you're talking to. So that's one of the things I try to tell myself all the time while I'm talking. Look, I can do this. There's nothing to it. It's just I motivate myself inside my head as they're telling me certain things, and I try to tune them out when the negativity comes. I tune them out, I'm talking to myself as they're speaking negative. I'm like, do they realize what they're saying? Okay, don't listen to them. You know what you're doing is right. You know what you're doing is the best. You know you're the best at what you're doing, so just keep it moving. So and then there's that other side where I am like, what am I doing? Oh my gosh, they're beating me up, and that's the side I try to get rid of because you can talk negative to yourself as well, and that's so to explain it. It can get to you sometimes, but most of the time I'm just telling me, look, I can do this, nothing to this. I mean, I don't even know why I'm questioning myself. So it's a lot of everything is temporary. So that's the main thing that I tell myself when I'm talking to myself.
Okay. All right. So I have one more question for you, Terrence. And I think when I came up with this question, I automatically thought of myself, and that may sound a little vain to some, but it's not, because the question is, who are you becoming? Because we are all becoming something, whether we're doing stuff or not doing anything, or just a little bit, or a whole lot. Whatever we're doing in our daily activities, that is sculpting our future, our reality, what we see for ourselves, we're becoming someone. Who are you becoming?
I'm becoming that successful businessman that I always wanted to be. Everything I do is pushing towards that. All the things that I used to do to where I'm at now have pretty much molded me to where I'm going and to where I am right now. So one of the things, I feel like the person that I'm becoming is like the ones you see on TV all the time. The successful people that people, ask, man, what is he doing? Or I want to, I'm molding or push myself to be that person when I walk in the room. And man, there goes the guy right there that does this, and that's where I'm pushing myself to be to, because everybody wants to have everybody. Well, I can't say everybody, but yeah, everybody wants to be successful. But not everybody wants to do what it takes to be successful. So the things that I'm doing now and where I'm trying to, push myself to become is that main person where like I said, that's another thing. I want to be that man when I walk in a room. They be like, "Oh my gosh, let's go Terrencebreaux. He does this, he does that. This guy's so successful. He does, And then they come to me and ask me for things, and I can share with them exactly what I did or what I did to get to the point where I'm at now, and let them realize, look, I've been where you've been at. And look where I'm at now. So everything that happens is not, you don't have to stay there. You don't. You don't have to stay where you're at. But you do have to put in work. You have to be passionate. You have to put in the time to get to where you want to go to. So that's the person that I'm striving to become. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there. So it's just a matter of time. And just like when you're born, they have your born day. The day you were born. But then there's a dash. That dash pretty much explains everything that happened in your life. Now that dash could be purposeful or it could be meaningless. So I want that dash where, in the middle of when I was born, when I died, to where I accomplished a lot. So I want to accomplish a lot. And they always say, I heard this one time say, you could tell your accomplishment when people are at your funeral. So that's when when it's for my time to move on, I want there to be a whole bunch of people at my funeral and thanking me for the things that I helped them accomplish in their life.
Wonderful. All right, well, it has been a pleasure. Like, you just don't understand. You're my first interview. I have others that's lined up, but we just hadn't, made a date for it. But I really do appreciate you being so candid, so open about your success, and where you're going in life. That is just the greatest thing ever, especially because you're a dreamer like me.